Hello, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Richa and this is the channel where you get to live life with an engineer mom in Uganda. So today's video we are going to be having a story time. So in today's video we are having a story time. We are going back to before Baraka was here. So it's basically about my pregnancy journey, how I found out I was pregnant, how my parents found out I was pregnant, and how it went at school, because I was pregnant at 22. So we are going back to 2020, the year we were so excited for, because that was actually the year I had to get done with school and become an official engineer. So I was so excited to get done with school. Little did I know Baraka was meant to come also in that year. So it was a year of blessings, but I didn't know my blessing was coming in that way. So I remember we were presenting our project proposals for our final year when schools closed down, and I was so happy when schools closed down because I was very stressed. I was so stressed from those project proposals, having your proposals being bounced every time. So I was stressed. I really needed a break. So we had a break from school because of COVID-19, and so like everybody was on the news every time during that period, seeing how many victims do we have today, what is happening. The president was addressing the nation just abruptly, breaking news every time. So whenever I watched the news, I kind of felt all the symptoms of corona. And I think it was common with everyone. Whenever you'd watch the news and then they're talking about the symptoms of corona, and you just feel you relate to all those symptoms. And the fact that we had broken up from school and I was very stressed, I just wanted to sleep. So those were red flags for me. When I saw it over happening, then I started wondering, am I okay? Am I okay? Am I okay? But then I didn't take it serious because I knew I'm okay. Like, I'm a good girl. Nothing has gone wrong. So just like that, so time went on. I think about a month passed and I'm still feeling funny, but I don't want to accept. So, and I hadn't told anyone for over a month. I didn't tell anybody. It was just me and myself, and I didn't want to tell anyone until I'm very sure it is true. Okay? Yeah. So time went on, and then around June, May there, so grandpa gets sick, and that's the time when around that time, that's when I really had to confirm. So I went to the hospital and checked, because I called someone and I'm like, you know what, I feel this and this and this. Then he's like, you're not pregnant. I'm like, yeah, I know I'm not, but I just feel funny. And told me, you're not. Of course you're not. So we all kept believing, no, I'm not. But things were there. I was seeing the red flags. Are they called red flags? I was seeing the signs, but they were not so serious. It was normal to sleep in lockdown because we had nothing to do basically, and it was normal to feel flu, to feel kind of tired, because anyway, it was corona and all that, and scary news all the time, and everybody's status was talking about those things. So it was really so normal for me. I didn't take it serious. So now when grandpa was sick, I wanted to tell them, but then I was scared. Like, no, I shouldn't pull people's attention and care from him. Let's care about him. When he gets better, I'll tell him. So that's when I took a step forward and decided Now let me go and test. So when I tested in June, I was 4 months. Yeah, so that was my first time testing. I was 4 months, and it wasn't just testing. I had to test, and I still couldn't believe, because I'm like, okay, you start doing the math and you just can't sum up things. So I decided, you know what, let me do a scan. So I get some money, I go for a scan. And yeah, while they're for scanning, the doctor is like, these toes, are you seeing them? Like, yeah. So he had toes, he had fingers. It was 4 months, like 18 weeks and 5 days, I remember. So that was it. I had to just believe it now. Like, whatever I was feeling was real. So after that, I came back. I started doing Google and whatever, because I'm not showing, and the scan says I'm 4 months, and I'm doing my mathematics. I just can't sum up things. So yeah, so, and just like that, so I decided I will not tell anyone, because why should I tell? Pregnancy can't be hidden for long. Eventually it's going to show, and I was already 4 months, so meaning anytime it was going to show, since by 4 months nobody had yet realized. Being a skinny girl, I was still skinny. My tummy was flat at 4 months, so nothing to do. I think I started showing at about 7 months, that now I could show. It looks like a food baby. That's now when it hit me right. So I'm like, okay, this has happened. Then schools are not opening, and I'm supposed to perform well. I decided I'm not going to blame pregnancy for my bad performance, because they're not related. I just didn't want to have that. Like, I'm going to have a baby, now I'm going to be a mom. So I start preparing for that, being a young mom at 22. So I decide to just let God take over. Like, I had nothing to do but just like let God take over, because I had been believing that it's not real. My body is just acting funny because I'm oversleeping during the lockdown. So schools were not opening, but luckily enough, by the time I was 6 months, we opened as online. So I decided to start doing online while part-time working. So then I was part-time working on a project. I was working on a project of electric wheelchairs for Uganda, like locally made. So I was a part-timer, an intern, I could say, getting my small money as I prepare for this life. So as I was doing my online classes, schools opening kept on pushing. Up to now, 2021 is ending and schools haven't fully opened. So while we were given the opportunity to study online, I had to try my best. I read. So as we all know, my pregnancy would bring a lot of heat in the night, and it was so hard to sleep in the night. I had a lot of dreams in the night, so I didn't want to sleep. It was my first time dreaming, actually. So I just didn't want to sleep in the night. I couldn't find sleep, though I was supposed to sleep. My nurses, should I say, the midwives that were taking me through the antenatal advised me to take enough rest, but I couldn't rest. I was restless. So I decided to just spend the whole night in my books. I'm like, Rachel, you have to read hard. I don't want anybody looking at, I didn't even know whether I was having a son, but I just used to say, I don't want anybody looking at my son and saying, that's the reason she didn't perform well. Because from the start, I was performing very well, and I was on a scholarship on merit because of my performance. So I didn't want that to just end because of pregnancy. So I decided to read. I read. So we had a date for examinations, which was within my due date. I remember I read and I'm like, okay, the exams are coming. I want to be able to answer my papers even when I'm in labor. So that's how much I read my books. I was reading, I was doing every past papers, I was doing enough research, because where I was doing my internship, I was given internet. So I made use of that internet to do even my homework and my schoolwork. So that was it. And then exams come and I did them online. Again, they gave us the opportunity to choose to do online or on campus, but even if you were doing online, the time was the same with on campus. And being a new system, writing is much easier than typing, but I chose that because I wanted to be comfortable, and I knew anytime the baby was coming, that I kept praying for him to wait till I finished my exams. So I wrote my exams when I was within my due dates, but then God answered my prayers. By the time I was doing my papers, Grandpa was fully recovered. He was very fine. Yeah, he was very fine because he was having a problem with the spine and he couldn't walk. But then by the time I was doing my exams, he was very fine. He was back on his feet. He was walking without a walking stick. So now that's when I was happy. Like when Grandpa recovered and then it started showing at 7 months, everyone got to know. I didn't have to tell them, they could see. So I just had nothing to explain. The thing is here, you can see it. So that's how they actually found out. I didn't tell anybody until when they saw. Everyone just saw with their own eyes. I didn't have to tell anybody because like I didn't know how to tell people about this. Even my own friends, I didn't know how to tell them. So everybody, it was till they saw, and those who didn't see me, it was till when they saw my graduation pictures with my baby. So God answered my prayers. I finished my exams. After the exams, then a week after the exams, because I finished my exams on the 11th, like a week and some few days after the exams, I had the baby successfully and no complications. So 2 weeks after the baby, I had graduation, and it was the best time of my life because the results were back. I remember I was home with my baby just taking some Snapchats when the news got me. Then I get a call from the university and they're telling me, you have been invited for graduation, because it was a virtual graduation, but they were like, you have been invited in particular to represent your class because you were the best in the class. So that was it. So it was a virtual graduation and they only invited the best student from each course, or should I say each program, and it was only those with the first class degree. So I was so happy when I got that call that you've been invited for. Of course I knew I hadn't failed because I had read hard, but hearing that my expectations, what I was expecting, has been met, I was so happy. By then Baraka was only 2 weeks old, 2 weeks and I think about 3 days. Yeah, so because right now he's 1 year making 2 weeks. Yeah, and I'm doing the video at around this time because I'm making an anniversary as a graduate. So when I got the phone call, I thought to myself, do I really need to go? My baby is so small, there is COVID. So I went and I told my grandparents the news, and they were like, you know what, we are going with the baby. So we're supposed to go 1 person and 2 people, 2 visitors. You're gonna have 2 guests. That's how the card was. So I went with grandpa and grandma and Baraka. Surprisingly, I had 3 guests for the graduation, and basically that was my 1 year. It was so nice that everything I wanted happened. Grandpa got better, I had my baby, I had my first class degree, and yeah, more will come in another story. I think the next story we shall be talking about what happened after the graduation and the baby. I'll have another story time if you like. So if you like me to have another story time with you people, please let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the comment section, because this is the end of the story. And remember, keep commenting, keep liking. Yeah, the best comments will always get a shout out from me in the next video of the week. So thank you so much for staying with me. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I know I'm not a very good storyteller, but then thank you for sparing your time and data to listen to my stories. So if you haven't subscribed, please feel free to subscribe by clicking the red button, that one. So you click that red button, and then also remember to click the icon, the bell icon, so that you get notified whenever I post a video. And always remember to like and comment, and also share to a friend to subscribe, because sharing is caring. See you in the next video. Bye.